Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition live forum. I'm your host, David Dadekian of Eat Drink Rhode Island, a small business here in Rhode Island. And I really appreciate you coming on to watch these interviews and checking out what we're doing with the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. You can find out more information at rismallbusiness.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all the socials. But please head to rismallbusiness.org and sign up for the newsletter to get notified about all sorts of things going on with the Small Business Coalition. My guest today, we're very happy to have Mayor of North Providence, Mayor Charles Lombardi. Mr. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, our pleasure. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you here to discuss what's going on in North Providence and small businesses. Anything you want to say to open us up, or should we dive in?
Just, I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to discuss what's happening in town. And it's my pleasure to be here. As you know, not only am I the mayor, but I'm also a small business owner.
So, right. Yes, indeed. Why don't we start with that? I mean, having that experience is certainly very valuable to not only North Providence, but I think to our coalition and what's going on there. So why don't you tell it's a little different because not all the people I've done interviews with are small business owners. You are. So why don't you tell us about, your background and that before we get into the town stuff?
Yes, thank you very, very much, Dave. So I come from a family business that's enjoying 75 years of success this year.
Fantastic.
We're in the dry cleaning business. I employ approximately 40 people. At this time, we have 6 locations. And I will tell you this, that, by the way, I still go to my plant 5:30 every morning till maybe 8. If anyone's looking for me, everyone that knows me knows that's where to find me in the early part of the day. But more importantly, there's no doubt in my mind that being part of our family business has most definitely helped me here in the town. And as far as, fixing what I thought was broke, ridding most of the politics, so to say, and making decisions based on what's best for everyone, and also bringing a business sense. And there's no doubt in my mind, Dave, that that is the reason why we've been successful. We came here and we were one step above junk bond. We were borrowing $10.5 million a year for cash flow, and we had a $10 million deficit. And I say to everyone, I'm not proud of this, but I will tell you, we were politically contaminated. Someone had to come here, not only me, anyone with good business sense. We have about $15.5 million surplus. We have $15 million in the bank, and we're A1 bond rated. Our problem here in town, and the reason that it's so important for me to support small businesses, we don't have land mass.
Right.
So we can't attract big business. So we have to continually do more with less. And the answer to that is to do whatever we can to make an agreement, put an agreement together. I'm not going to say deal. I hate that word. Put an agreement together so businesses will consider coming here, and those that are here can continue to survive and be successful. And you only can do that, by the way, when you've got business sense and common sense, which you can't teach. Sometimes you can't teach that.
Very good point. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a very valid point about the businesses. I know just from my own perspective, my sector of the world is food and drink. You've got some great restaurants going on in North Providence right now. And it's really kind of, I think it's been a great location for people to come in and find a good amount, because I mean, the key with food and drink businesses is you need critical mass of people. And, you drive down Mineral Spring Avenue, just to use one example, and there's certainly that critical mass. So I think you've achieved that nicely. It's good to hear those numbers. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, why don't we jump right into these? We got a lot of things that our Small Business Coalition members are interested in. First and foremost, as you probably know, they're all interested in what's North Providence looking to do with the ARPA funds, And what part of those funds do you think may be available to small businesses in North Providence?
Well, we're waiting for a little more direction as concerned about the use of the funds. In the funds, they said, water. We don't have a water issue. We have Providence Water. And they said sewerage issues. We have Narragansett Bay services 100% of our town, and the broadband infrastructure. Now, what I would have liked to seen that they said that it would be broadband and infrastructure, and a lot of other communities are looking for a little more leeway, so to say. We have a great. We don't have a broadband problem. We have one of the best IT departments in the state that takes care of both our ITs and our school department. We're one of the only communities that were successful in merging both the town and school department in the IT. So to answer your question, we would like to utilize some of our monies, okay, and put a program together for the small business and also for infrastructure recreation, so to say. And we're hoping that the government will work with us. We're going to get 9.4 million to utilize in 3 years, and that doesn't
Right.
count what the school system's going to get.
Right.
And you can't get foolish in the spending. We already learned our lesson when we got that $60 million Google settlement, where you have to be very, very careful. And if you don't have any business sense, then you could be very, very foolish. Could get very foolish with the spending.
Yeah, absolutely true. Well, thank you for that point. So I don't know if you had a chance to see Providence and Warwick so far have created grant programs for small businesses. We're hoping that the Small Business Coalition and amongst others are pushing for other cities and towns to do some sort of small grant program as well. As I was saying, I don't know if you had a chance to see those two programs. The application processes are tedious, to say the least. Odious might be even a better word, and not particularly helpful in some cases. There are some restrictions in both the Providence and Warwick applications that don't really apply to very small businesses. Which, as you know, I mean, your business is 75 years old and many locations, but when your family started that business, it was a small business with fewer employees, and that's a lot of the businesses that need help right now. Have you given any thought to grant programs, things of that nature? Is it
We're
something
looking
you want to see?
David, we're looking at both of those programs now with some changes. I like to get things done yesterday,
Good.
and sometimes that's becomes an issue here. I call it belonging to the meetings club, but we're going to streamline some of those questions, and because again, I don't want to do that as a small business person. I mean, no. So we're gonna make some changes, and I can only tell you this: that in the end, this will probably be one of the easiest programs, so to say, to initiate, especially for our small business community. But we are looking at both of those programs right now.
That's good to hear. Certainly, if you have a chance, one of our members printed out the Warwick application, and it was like 38 pages of print, which was just ridiculous. It's overwhelming for a small business to have to deal with
And I
something.
think what that does is it kind of turns. I know if I keep looking at it this way, if I was to receive that, or tomorrow morning when I go into my business, receive that, I would say this is, forget about it.
Right.
And we need to encourage, not discourage, small business to apply for the help that they're so deserving of it that they need right now.
Good. It's good to hear. Well, the Small Business Coalition is certainly available to North Providence, to any municipality out there that wants to see the feedback and the poll information that we collect. If you want information on putting some of these programs together. I think. Can I ask? I mean, I don't want to get too into your details, but it's great to have someone on the show that is a small business owner. Were you able to utilize some of the programs in the last year or so with the PPP and things of that nature for your businesses?
Yes,
I have to guess. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think dry cleaning that industry was probably pretty badly hit. No.
we suffered a 70% hit.
Wow.
I and what has helped us, and I think the how can I say, I would say shop, but the aggressive small business owner. This has taught all of us to make those changes for survival.
Yeah.
And I can only relate to what we did. Yes, and we did get some funds. My daughter handles all of that, and which helped us out tremendously. But we had to scale down where we were processing 5 days a week. We then had to scale back. We were processing 3 days a week. We changed some of our hours, and it has helped us get through this. Is the business coming back? It's coming back. I can't say that it isn't. But I mean, we were lucky, by the way, and I thank God every day that we had longevity. We've been around so long, so most of our obligations are taken care of without just trying to say it correctly or
Oh, that
with
makes sense. Of
class.
course. Yeah.
So that has helped us. And then what has also helped us is there are a number of dry cleaners that couldn't survive, Dave, and chose to close. One of the most hurtful things for me and my family is we had to close a store
Yeah.
up into the business area of Smithfield, up near Bryant and Fidelity. You got 3,500 people that were working at Fidelity and not coming to work anymore.
Right.
How long can you pay the $2,000 rent in your employees? And it was tough. I waited 8 months. I held out, and then got together with the kids and Dad. What are you doing? You're shopping in this. The store needs to close, and so we did that. So I felt that also, Dave. But you had to make those tough decisions. It wasn't easy,
Sure.
but here we are, and so it's helped us. And so now we're going to start to maybe get back to the normal operating hours, so to say. In our stores, we used to be open till 6, closed at 4, and we're gonna address it accordingly as to the increase of the business coming back.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that about the one store, but it highlights something I think is very apparent to small business owners, and I think it's good for you to say it for all these owners out there to think about. Uh, we're going to fight tooth and claw to keep our business going, and sometimes even to to the point where we probably should make those hard choices, like you did have to make sooner. Some cases to financially be viable. But either way, we're going to try and keep these businesses going as long as we possibly can.
Well,
So thank you for that story. Yeah.
the issue that I get concerned with is that bumped into a fella, I don't know, met about 3 weeks ago, and we're talking. I said, "So what are you doing? You're working?" "No, I'm not going back to work." Well, I've learned to, I'm all right. I got about maybe 1,400 a month coming in, and I'm okay. You're okay? I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, you know what? Now I've learned to relax. I've learned to make changes in my life, and I'm okay." I said, "So you're satisfied with that?" And I think this is the thing that's, is concerning. Everyone's looking for help. I think everyone that may be listening was as part of this conversation, and that's what we're fighting out there.
No, you're absolutely right. It is an interesting situation. Yeah, I mean, when you talk to people like that, in a way, it's if that's good for them, that's good for them. But it certainly is a hard impact for a lot of people.
No, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in North Providence. There, we saw. We were looking through some of the news, and some of our members brought up. You've got a new high school football field going in. Are there
Mhm.
local businesses being involved there? How can local businesses get involved with something like that?
So we had, as you know, we were one of the first communities to build two new elementary schools. And when we went out to bond at that time, Dave, we had approximately $4 million left over. That money had to be spent in 3 years. So we held back. We tried, but it had to be only for school buildings. So we held back, and we've been talking about rebuilding the high school field. It needs some addressing. So we did go out to bid, and we thought it'd be the right thing after talking with so many of the parents and people involved in the sports, that was the right thing to do. I will say this to you, that we will be reaching out to the businesses, for some advertising, so to say. But
Yep.
luckily for us at this point, we didn't need any help in the funding because we had that money. The bid, I think, came in at 3.2 million, and it's going to be a state of the art facility. I want to go back to what I said before when you asked about the monies that we may be getting and why we need it for recreation. That's the only football field we have or open space. So now we did, over the last couple of years, buy a couple of the larger parcels of land, 4 acres and 2.5. And I had said to the council at that time, my business sense says we need to buy this property, a couple of older farms in town. We have the least amount of open space per capita left in the state. So I said, if we didn't need this property, we need to buy it. Why is that? I said, 42 homes, 2.5 children per home, say only two, 80 new students to educate at $15,000 per student. It's a 4 year payback if we weren't going to use it. But we need the property for recreation to take it back to the high school field. If I could get some of this money, by the way, and rebuild one of those farms, and have it become another multi-use football, soccer facility, it will then prolong the use of the high school field. That was our problem. It never had a shot or a chance to rejuvenate. Had so much play.
Ah, okay.
So that's what our why we need help on the recreational part of this money or spending than anything else right now. And we are going to get the small businesses because we've already talked to a couple of them as far as some advertisement, so to say. And but as far as I try to stay away from the small businesses and asking them for funding of any kind because I know how tough it is to do business right now, Dave.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. But I think advertising is a great avenue, and it's a good way for the small businesses to get their name in front of people right there in town. So that's a great option, I think. Or maybe working with some gyms or other things of that nature. I think it's great to hear that there's opportunities there available to the small businesses.
And as far as, if I may, talking about the small business, we'll do whatever we can. And I think I mentioned this a few minutes ago to put an agreement together. We just abandoned two streets on Mineral Spring Avenue so that this company, so to say, came in and assured us as to what they want to put there in three new buildings. So I went to the council and said, look, we need to think about abandoning these two roads. It's not going to hurt anyone. Maybe the longest part of that road, maybe about 300 feet. No utilities in the road. They had to buy the road, the two roads. But now we're going to have three new significant businesses there, which leads me to something else. We have a purchase and sales agreement with our old police and fire complex on Middle Spring Avenue. And the reason why we haven't had a closing is, again, yeah, okay. I don't want a row of stores. I'm looking for one or two significant businesses, maybe
Okay.
something a little more upscale for our town, as opposed to another maybe 7 stores. Then everyone gets into how can I say, okay, I'll charge you $17 a foot. Well, I can go across the street for 16. No, I'll go down to 15. Not good. So
Good point.
those are the things that I'm trying to do here, or we're trying to do. And by the way, I will tell you this: we have a great council to work with, good business sense, and it's thank God we do. But that's helping us. How can I say survive? Had our 6th year without a tax increase here, so I think we're doing okay.
Well, I'm not gonna not gonna comment on my own town. I certainly haven't seen 6 years without a tax increase. That's pretty nice. Good for you. I think you mentioned Mineral Spring Avenue and you mentioned buildings like that, which I think is fantastic because you're right. If you get too many small storefronts, traffic can get congested. It can be difficult to park, things of that nature. And for lack of a better, you know, way around. I mean, it's just the reality is it is a car culture there, and you have to drive around that area. So that's some good foresight there, I think, to those businesses. But I mean, that is kind of your main, I'd say, your main commerce drag, right? Wouldn't you say that your main strip?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And you got to be a little careful there because you get half a dozen people complain about the traffic. The other half a dozen people, they know that whatever they need, by the way, they can come to Middle Spring Avenue
right.
and purchase it. And so again, we're just trying to make sure that those businesses that are here, we do whatever we can to keep them here and and encourage new business to come here.
So what do you do in those cases? What programs do you think of when keeping businesses and encouraging new businesses?
Well, I will tell you this, that I should put it this way, but the word out there is you can go to North Providence and you could do business. The word's out. People come here, I'm not going to say every day, but they do come and visit us. What do you think about this business? And we tell them between planning, zoning, fire marshal, we do what we have to do. And by the way, we've really moved, I want to say, to the left a number of times to make sure that business is relocated here. So the word's on the street, so to say, that
No, absolutely.
you can do business here, and everyone will tell you that. Go there, they got business sense. And
I mean, I think that's the key. I mean, you just hit those points. I mean, regulation is the thing that keeps people licensing, regulation, things of that nature. If you like you said, fire marshal, those are the things that keep people from starting a business in certain spots. If it's like we went, when we were talking about earlier with the application and work. When you see something really problematic and hard to get over, it's like a hurdle to get your business open. Why would you want to do your business there?
when we first came here, Dave, I could never understand because I didn't like it when it happened to me. Oh, you can go over there for the building permit, but if you come back and next week and then you go there for your plumbing permit, and then your electrical permit is down the street. No wonder, one-stop shop.
Great.
So when you came in, you got your electrical, plumbing, and building permit.
Fantastic. Well, that's how it should be. Is there a North Providence business liaison, or is there an office, something we can put up on the screen to let people know the best contact?
The best contact as far as business with us would be the town planner,
Okay.
planning office. And, I'll give you a little story. So this fella's been with us a year, came from another community, and I'll say, and that there's a lot of bureaucracy. And now all of a sudden he comes here and we tell him, yeah, get it done. Is it illegal? No, get it done. I need that business here.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's
I
fantastic
think
to
the
hear. Get
question
it done.
is it illegal? No, get it done. Let's
Right.
not, well, maybe you should talk to Dave now. No, I already talked to 4 people. I'm all set. Get it done. And I think that's what's helped us, since I've been here. And it's helped us even more in the last, say, year and a half because of how businesses are struggling.
Right. No, get it done is perfect for small businesses. That's good to hear. let's see what else we've got here from some of our coalition members. So you did mention population there, and now there really isn't a lot of free space for new housing and things of that nature. Do you see any avenues there to get more residents into town, or you think kind of it's just the nature of physical space is kind of plateaued?
We're well. First of all, we're 98% developed,
Yeah,
Dave. Would I encourage people to move here? Absolutely. Problem we have is where
sure,
somebody new moves in, it's because someone moved out.
right,
It's not that we built. There's a new development going in, and see that is when I mentioned to you a little while ago, is what's dangerous for us because there's a cost to that. There's a cost to new family development.
right.
And schools are basically maxed out. But that's the reason why we had to float that $75 million bond for the two new elementary schools, because we had a problem. But we also, by the way, I will tell you this, which is interesting, which I'm very proud of. Right now, we have approximately $24,000 a month coming in rentals. We rented the old Merrillville school. We rent some property to an auto salvage yard. We rent a house behind here in the town hall. So we try to always put those agreements together to give us additional revenue, and it's working.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Yeah, I mean, if you can't sell those buildings off, renting them is a great
Well, the other
opportunity.
thing is this: as far as and I'm a proponent of trying to lease and rent. At least the town's got that money coming in every month,
Right.
as opposed to selling it. Once you sell it, you got no control, and you lose that assurance of that 22,000. Or I want to see it's about 23 change right now coming in a month.
It's good revenue. I mean, if the town can, be a landlord like that, then why not, right?
Yes, and by the way, the other thing is, I think that you need to know is when we came here. So we have a maintenance department, and then the school department has a maintenance department. And I'm looking at this, I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. Whether it's a schoolhouse, a firehouse, a town hall, the library, all those buildings and the maintenance all comes from one place, the taxpayer's pocket. So why does the school department need a maintenance department? And why does the town, so to say, need a maintenance department? It took me 6 years to convince the school department there could be one maintenance department. Well, here's the bottom line: the first year we merged, we saved 240,000,
That's fantastic.
and then we
Streamline.
moved,
Yeah.
to the IT. Now we have one IT department takes care of every computer throughout the town, whiteboards, police and fire dispatch. Then no one's complaining. Everything's getting done. And with that, we also merged, by the way, I don't say took over, but we did the Pawtucket Fire Dispatch. We took that over. So
All right. I remember that.
when we merged with the Pawtucket Fire Dispatch, the city of Pawtucket saved, I want to say it was about 110,000. We saved 70. It's almost $200,000 in one. Before I came to this meeting with you today, I was at a meeting, and the bid's going to go out for our new animal control shelter, North Providence, Johnston, and Smithfield, a tri-town animal control shelter. This is what I believe is savings. It's the small business attitude that it's helping us survive. And you're going to be able to say, no needs to be said. But these are the things that, and the businesses, by the way, are going to be involved. We already talked to a number of them with the new animal control shelter, as far as, some advertisement.
Great. Now I was thinking it as you said it, and you just said it yourself. It's a small business mentality that can help streamline things. So I mean, that's fantastic to hear.
But you have
And I
no
think,
idea, Dave. Excuse me, Dave. You have no idea what it is to convince people to get it.
well, I I've dabbled in working with elected officials over the years, and I know there's a lot of work in some cases. Bureaucracy can run deep sometimes, and it's good to hear that you can make those changes, positive changes like that. That's nice to hear. I think, not to take away from, the different municipalities, municipalities in Rhode Island, but combining some resources like that are a great idea. I mean, why not? We're a small state. We don't have a county system like a lot of larger states around the country. I think combining like that makes a lot of sense. So it's good to hear things like that happen.
I tell everyone, regionalization is our salvation. When you can merge any services such as this, you're saving money. I mean,
Yeah.
the town of Smithfield is going to save approximately 850,000. The town of Johnson's going to save that money because they would have to build a new shelter.
Right.
100 feet from our shelter is the town of Smithfield. We've already merged with Johnston 3 years ago. So now it's going to be a state-of-the-art animal control shelter for those three communities. I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it stems out to regulation, things of that nature as well. I mean, if we can streamline some of the business regulations, I mean, we have a coalition, a board member who has a great business in North Kingstown, opened up a second location in Warwick, and basically had to start from scratch when it came to business and fire, things of that nature. So, I understand the need for municipalities to have their own individuality and their own control over some systems. But again, a state this size to have some across the board systems throughout the entire state might be a little better for everyone involved.
No doubt about it. And I think what I faced, Dave, I know I talk a lot here, but what I faced is that whole attitude of justifying your or their existence.
Yeah.
I know who you are. I have no problem with that. I can respect that, but enough is enough.
It's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate your saying it, so I didn't have to say that. So I want to see, Ben, do we have any questions for the mayor on Facebook? Anything from the public right now? No, it looks like we're all set with the. We have one here from Ramp. They're wondering what your ADA compliance rate is there in North Providence. Do you know that off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, we'll have her get in touch with your planning department. No, it's okay.
I will get that.
Okay, we'll certainly. Yeah, I think we've had members from Ramp on our program before, and ADA compliance is obviously something that's important. We discussed it. It's obviously it's a great social need, but it's also a business need. If you can't access all your customers, what are you doing, right?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was everything that we've got here in our questions from our coalition members. Is there anything you'd like to close with?
No, just that. Listen, I enjoy what I do. I most certainly enjoy going to my business in the morning at 5:30. I stay there till maybe 8:15. Go home, take a shower, and then come to this office. But again, it most definitely has helped me fix things here. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
It certainly sounds like it. I've learned a bunch of things here today, and I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with us. As I mentioned before, the Small Business Coalition is available for you if you had any needs with grant programs or any other small business programs. We'd always like to help out, and I really thank you for your time today, sir.
And again, thank you for the invitation, and please, everyone, stay healthy.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You and your family. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was North Providence Mayor Charles Lombardi. Thanks very much to the mayor for having the time to talk with us today. Coming up in 2 weeks, we have another mayor. We have two more mayors coming up on our show. In 2 weeks, on November 30th, we have Johnston Mayor Policina, and on December 14th, we have Warwick Mayor Picosi. So if you have questions for either of those mayors, if you're small businesses in those two towns, and you'd like to send those questions in, please go to rismallbusiness.org, sign up for our newsletter. You can send the questions through the info@rismallbusiness.org email address. Thanks as always for watching the show, and take care until next time. Have a very happy Thanksgiving.